Kindergarten 3 is coming out in 2025, and although MatPat's retirement breaks all of our hearts, his final stream did give us a gift. Our first official look at the Kindergarten 3 gameplay. Now, disclaimer, the developers of Kindergarten 3 just sent Matt and Steph a demo of Kindergarten 3, but it gives us a look at so many missions, so much dialogue, and lore that continues our lore journey to figure out what the heck is going on in the kindergarten universe. Hi, what's up everyone? You can call me PhoebzorPhoebe, and today I am going to go over everything we know about Kindergarten 3 so far. Here on my YouTube channel, I played both Kindergarten 1 and Kindergarten 2 this year, and I would love for you to check them out, but after those playthroughs, I couldn't get the kindergarten lore out of my brain, so I also did a Kindergarten 3 full breakdown and analysis, as well as stalk the developer's Twitter page because they actually have been uploading screenshots during their game development of Kindergarten 3, and you can find both of those videos down in the description as well as my kindergarten playlists. It would mean the world if you could watch those for me. Anyway, I spent the last few hours breaking down Matt and Steph's gameplay of their Kindergarten 3 demo, and I took several pages of notes. Another disclaimer, since this was a demo specifically made for MatPat and Stephanie, remember, Kindergarten 3 is still in development. It is not officially finished, so things that we see in Matt and Steph's gameplay trailer may be updated, removed, or changed between now and the official release of Kindergarten 3. All right, let's dive in. So the Kindergarten 3 demo opened up in our bedroom, of course. As the other two games, our main character is in a brand new bedroom with the disclaimer of this is just a demo that's going to show us half of our new teacher's mission, and there's going to be limited interactions because there's no other missions available in this demo, as well as the disclaimer that I gave you that this is not the final game and things may be changed or removed or altered once the final game releases. The very first thing that I found interesting about our new bedroom is that we have the option every morning we wake up to make the bed. We can choose to make the bed or we cannot, and my main concern or main question is how is that going to impact every single mission we do? If we make the bed and do a mission successfully, are we going to fail at the end of the day because we didn't make the bed? Or is it going to change our interactions with people, our attitude towards people? I just find that mechanic to be very intentional. I'm very intrigued to see how it's going to impact our character and our playthrough of the game. You might be thinking to yourself,
Phoebe, making the bed, very minor. It's not going to have a lot of impact.
But I would like to know your theories down below to see if you think it's going to impact our gameplay at all. In our bedroom, there is a TV, as well as what looks to be a replica of a Nintendo Switch, and the developers of the game put in a nice little reference of it's hard to make games for consoles because they did make a Kindergarten 1 and Kindergarten 2 buddy pack for the Nintendo Switch that they released a couple years back. That way you can enjoy the games on the go. Our main character also has a Monstermon bird that he calls Burb, which might just be a Monstermon character plush, which was really cool to see how big it was compared to our main character, which brings up another point that many of you have been commenting on my Kindergarten 3 shorts and theory videos. What happened to our main character and why is he so small? Good question. That design must have been intentional to shrinking us down so much compared to the other kindergartners. We are shorter, so I'm not sure what's going on with that. We also have what seems to be a big ABC decal on our bedroom wall, and our main character is excited because he thinks that he's going to be learning his ABCs today, when in reality, he's coming into a school that's probably going to be very similar to his other two schools, and it's only Wednesday on his first week of kindergarten. This kid cannot get a break. Now, once we start the school day, it brings us to the home of the Ducks. The Ducks are our school mascot in this new school, which brings us to the first school in the kindergarten series, which seems to have a mascot that was even addressed or talked about. The first kindergartner that MatPat and Stephanie choose to interact with is also a new kindergartner to our main character at least, and to us, the player. And she also gives us probably the most lore up front and dialogue in the schoolyard. Emmy is a kindergartner that loves taking care of the gardens in the school, but she tells us that she used to take turns with the other girls in the school, but now she's the only one taking care of them as of Wednesday of the school week because of what happened yesterday. Our main character can ask what happened yesterday, and Emmy can reply what didn't happen yesterday. Then she goes on to kind of summarize our own experience and explain that 2 schools were exposed for experimenting on children. And looky there, I guarantee you and I both know which schools in the surrounding area were exposed for experimenting on children because we were at those schools. That was us. Kind of exposing all the experiments too. Our main character is a little mastermind when it comes to being told what to do, doing things for people, and then kind of stumbling upon all the secrets and saving the day, as well as dying or almost dying several times. So we've been through a lot as the player. Emmy also informs us that the principal for the current school we just arrived at has been missing, and that he's also Davey's dad, which is another character we will talk about shortly. And because of the news of the 2 local schools being so corrupt, as well as the principal going missing, a lot of parents, rightfully, have been pulling their kids from school. So it's good to know that there are some good parents in this kindergarten universe that are saying, you're not gonna go to school today. We probably should figure out something for your education because we don't want you to get kidnapped, go missing, or experimented on. Rightfully. I don't blame these parents, and I'm glad that she kind of confirms that, yeah, a lot of kids didn't show up today because of the news that broke. And as just a little side theory, this might also explain why our old characters such as Ozzy, Jerome, Bugs aren't at this new school. They were either moved at another school after kindergarten 2 and all the tragedy, or their parents probably removed them from school for the school day until things calmed down around the area. But we don't have a confirmation yet as to why these characters aren't in kindergarten 3. My theory is it's just to introduce new characters, new storylines, since we are at a new school. She also confirms that the school janitor has become the new substitute principal in the absence of Davey's father, which would be a reason that the old school janitor, you know, the murderous one, why he became the new school janitor. But I also want to note that Regis is the only character that we have not interacted with, or MatPat and Steph did not interact in their demo playthrough. We were able to get at least some dialogue from every other character that has been advertised in the Kindergarten 3 trailer and screenshots, except for Regis. So I'm really excited to see the new principal, or the substitute principal, who used to be a janitor, which just that alone, I just feel like somehow he's gonna be the craziest. I don't know, I could be wrong. He could be the most sane, but he used to be a janitor. But in the kindergarten world, there are good janitors, so that's good to know. But he became a principal, he was a janitor, became a principal. All the principals have been evil. The janitor is 50-50 chance, you're either crazy or you're a sweetheart. So it's just, I just feel like we can assume what's going to happen. And I also mentioned in my last video, breaking down the screenshots, that Regis is one of the only characters, or at least he was in the trailer, that looks directly at the camera, almost as if breaking the fourth wall with his evil eyebrow glare. It seems to be like looking directly at us, the actual player, which I found very purposeful and very interesting. Emmy's last thing that she said that I found very interesting, that would be hard to catch if you read by it very quickly, is that the principal, Davey's father, who went missing, was devastated when he discovered that Alice, another kindergartner who was actually at the end of kindergarten 2, if you watched my short theory video, went missing. But the principal, in her words, was heartbroken when Alice went missing. Now, little mini Phoebe file theory. Trademark pending. My Phoebe file game theory here is, are Alice and Davey related? Because we have not gotten any confirmation or denial yet, because one, the game isn't out yet, that Alice and Davey are brother and sister, or any confirmation or denial about that. Because why would he be heartbroken about this kindergartner who went missing if he's only Davey's father? And then I looked closer at the characters, and it seemed purposeful that not only the developers made Emmy say this, but also look at these two. I've never designed a game before, but as an artist, their design seems a little intentional. They both have a square face, the same like bang, swoop, similar colored hairs, not exact, but they might be siblings, and I am just just theorizing with you, but I would love for you to let me know if you think they're siblings or not, because in kindergarten 1 and 2, we got the twins Billy and Lily, as well as the twins Felix and Ted. Are Davey and Alice twins that were separated at birth? I don't know, but he was heartbroken when Alice went missing, so I don't know. The next person that Matt and Stephanie interact with is my absolute favorite person. I just love her and her attitude so much. But I am excited to see her again in kindergarten 3, Cindy. Surprisingly, we have gotten a lot more information, I feel, from the screenshots than we did the demo interaction with Cindy because the dialogue was so limited. But basically, Cindy was upset because she always has to be upset at something, obviously. Saying that she was disgusted by vegetables because they're not vegan, because she's unaware, because, you know, she's Cindy and she's a little Miss Princess Know-It-All, but actually just has no education or knowledge on what being vegan means, even though she claims to be vegan. You gotta play the games, all right? Or watch me play the games, all right? But in the screenshots, we saw her target Emmy a couple times, and she seemed upset at Emmy in this limited interaction as well. But regardless, I am excited to see more Cindy in kindergarten 3. That way I can tell her off. It was lovely to see what booping the gator meant. You know, Linda the alligator chomped off our head for booping the gator. Let's talk about the kid who's obsessed with Linda. Davey is standing by Linda, loves Linda. He tells us that his dad didn't like Linda, but now that he's missing, I guess Linda can stay around, which, you know, there's not a lot to go off of how Davey feels about the principal being missing, but it seems like he cares more about Linda and would probably be more upset if Linda was missing, like all the adults seem to want to get rid of Linda. If that's any correlation, the adults not wanting an alligator in the schoolyard because they're harming children is a difference from kindergarten 1 and kindergarten 2, but this is a kindergarten game and I cannot trust the adults at this school. Just because they don't want an alligator eating the children doesn't mean that they don't want what's best for the children. Probably just means they want the children around to, you know, experiment, murder, I don't know, do whatever the kindergarten adults like doing in this universe. But Davey confirms that Linda is the true mascot in his heart and not the stupid ducks. Now that his dad is gone, he's happy to keep Linda. He confirms that Linda took the janitor's arm, and he kind of ends the interaction with, "Prove to me that you're not a spy," once the janitor is mentioned, which I feel like is going to be our mission in the final kindergarten 3 game, or at least Davey's mission. If we were to interact with Davey and go further in the gameplay, if it doesn't change between now and then, I feel like Davey's mission is going to be him putting us in situations to where we can slowly and probably painfully gain his trust. Now, on the contrary, let's go to the janitor, because it seems like their overall missions are going to contradict. Davey doesn't seem to want to get close to the janitor, especially because the janitor kind of confirms, as well as Davey confirms, that the janitor lost his arm to Linda because he tried to, you know, stick his mop in her, which our main character would know a lot about, surprisingly. We have some trauma from it, especially if this is a Groundhog Day situation. This poor main character, every time he goes to a new school, he is stuck in a permanent Groundhog Day situation of reliving the same day over and over and over until he can get to the root or secret of all the pain that is going on at his current school. So my only side note concern is the well-being of our kindergartner, who seems just really excited to read, but doesn't seem to be learning how to read in this game because he's gonna be sent into another Groundhog Day spiral. This poor kid and the curse that is put upon him. You know, I'm surprised at this point that he knows it's Wednesday because he's lived a million lives between Monday and Tuesday. I'm also excited to see probably the most consistent antagonist in the game because, you know, he just murders people. He calls Regis the new boss, and he said that he met Linda in the war previously. He makes a funny arm reference by calling out our main character, saying, "You're really surprised that someone's missing an arm," referencing Nugget's missing arm in kindergarten 2, and I'll go over it later, but also this game too. And like I said before, the janitor's mission is going to conflict with Davey's. Davey's mission will probably be about proving that we're not a spy, meaning we're not working with the janitor or with the other adults, and the janitor's mission seems to be, help me out so I don't die. Because the first step to the janitor's mission is going to be help him stop the bleeding, since, you know, he got his arm chopped off by Linda. And he also wants to get rid of the stupid lizard, referencing the alligator. So I'm actually looking forward to helping the janitor again. Once again, I know, words that I never thought would come out of my mouth, but we get to try to save Linda the alligator and keep her around in Davey's mission, and then try to get rid of the stupid lizard and stop the bleeding and keep him alive in the janitor's mission. And I am so glad to see Carla back. I love Carla and her sass, and she's a hella smart kid. She starts the conversation with our main character saying, "So much to do, so little time." Basically saying new school, new shortcuts, which I feel like her mission is going to be us helping discover new paths, probably getting gear as well, because, you know, in kindergarten 2, we helped her get stuff to build a bomb, which led to the whole kindergarten 2 fiasco and just the ending. And you saw it, you were there. The playlist is linked down below, but I'm excited to see what Carla is working on besides new routes in this new school. And I wonder if we're gonna build another bomb for her in kindergarten 3. We did see her venting in one of the screenshots, so we're gonna have to find all sorts of secret paths, which I hope will help us in the long run with our kindergarten 3 playthrough of uncovering any secrets or ways to navigate through the new school. Now, I know I stressed the importance of Alice in at least 3 other videos on my channel, but like I said previously, Alice is a character that was a monster, was one of the experimented children at the end of kindergarten 2 that we ended up saving, and now we're back at her home school. But when our main character goes and interacts with her, she tells us that 2 days ago, which would be Monday in the kindergarten universe, she was kidnapped, and then yesterday, which would be Tuesday in the kindergarten universe, she was turned into a weird monster. We helped her get away, but she kind of tells us something new, which I did not know, that she's worried about her friend Kevin. Our main character can ask who Kevin is, and she tells us that Kevin also went missing and she hasn't heard from him. And Alice tells us that Kevin went missing on the same day she did, and that they were very good friends. So I think it's interesting that not only Alice went missing, but Kevin and the principal went missing around the same time she did. But because of our help, she's the only one that's confirmed to be returned at the moment or alive. She also tells us that she has no memories of the event, and in the popular kindergarten yellow text, she doesn't know where her diary is, and she keeps a diary that probably has all the information. So her diary is probably in the hands of whoever kidnapped, experimented on, etc. So it's gonna probably be our mission to help Alice remember what happened over the past 2 days, as well as find her diary, maybe for us to put the pieces together. But like I said, I feel like Alice is such an important character to the overall lore and connection of the 3 kindergarten games and the lore of the universe. Now to the character that brings everyone back to kindergarten, and let's be honest, the only reason that some of you even care about kindergarten, Nugget. We all love Nugget. We all love him, and if you don't, you're lying. Our main character comes across Nugget enjoying a wonderful green goo pile. Nugget also gives us our first action or apple to use, which I found hilarious because we can eat the green goo. Yes, Nugget offers for us to enjoy the green goo as he has, and we can eat the green, toxic, poisonous goo. We eat it, absolutely. What else are you gonna do? You're playing a kindergarten game. You gotta embrace the cringe, the chaos, the goo. You're weird if you don't eat the goo. Plus, you're 5 years old, so of course you're gonna eat the mud, dirt, and goo. You eat the goo. After eating the goo, we immediately turn green, and it seems like our main character has now a limited time to live. And Nugget mentions that he also ate the goo, but we cannot endure the green goo like he can. And it seems like after the first apple use, we see a twin getting thrown into the front yard of the school, and we hear a car zooming and skidding away as fast as possible. Now, in my last 2 videos, I was debating whether this is Felix or Ted because it looks like Felix, but in Teddy's clothes, and in this demo, the game developers were kind enough to confirm that 1, both twins are alive, despite the kindergarten 2 missions where the twins can turn on each other and kill each other. And 2, Felix confirms that it is Felix, which I was a little sad about because he is so staunchy, raunchy, and rude, okay? He's rude. And we already have a rude little blonde in the game. We don't need 2, but here we are. Felix yells out, "Unbelievable! You'll pay for this, Teddy!" He then goes on to tell our main character that Teddy swapped clothes today so he could take Felix's spot at the fancy academy, and it just goes to show how the family treats Teddy still. Teddy was the target of murder. Seems like no one in the family, including father, does not want Teddy to inherit the fortune because they really just undermine Teddy. Teddy is the black sheep of the family. No one respects him, but I personally love Teddy. Whoever was driving that vehicle thought that Felix was Teddy because he's wearing Teddy's clothes and they're twins. They threw him out of the car. So that just goes to show that, hey, we're dropping you off at this stupid school. Let's throw you out of the car, hardly stopping, and we're gonna take the other twin, the smart one, the good one, Felix, to the fancy academy. So do I blame Teddy for switching clothes? No. Do I blame him for wanting a better life? No. Am I mad that he's not in kindergarten 3 or we haven't been able to see him yet? Yes, because I love Teddy. Felix's last thing he is able to say to our main character in the demo is, "He must be stopped. I must get out of here." So somehow we're going to have to help Felix escape the dumb school. I don't know how that mission is going to go out or if it's going to change between now and the game release, but that seems to be Felix's want and our mission. Next, we talk to another fan favorite from the original kindergarten, Monty. And yes, Monty is wearing a dress, but not willingly. He is very humiliated, and he says that today is the second worst day of his young life. He then tells our character a lot of lore that after Penny died in kindergarten 2, he went to the basement where she was and stole her robot parts. He used the tech that's primarily in her dress, I guess, to get his legs to walk because the janitor disabled him by beating him with his mop. He then confirms that most of the tech and circuits are in the dress, but there's only enough power to either move his legs or his arms, so he chose the legs so he could walk, but it makes him constantly T-pose while wearing what seems to be a skirt. So yeah, he's a kindergarten boy who's humiliated and has just had a really awful week, honestly. He's just had a really bad week. I am excited to see more Monty in kindergarten 3. He's savage, he's smart, he's a genius, but he just has the worst luck because of the janitor and because of us, because we told the janitor. We don't need to talk about that. Nope, we didn't. Sorry, Monty. I'm sorry. Now that we kind of discussed all the dialogue that the game developers provided in this short demo, let's get to the core center focus of the demo. Miss Lovelett and half of her mission was the main mission provided for the kindergarten 3 demo to MatPat and Stephanie, and we get to see how Miss Lovelett interacts with our main character. Miss Lovelett is a kindergarten teacher who always rhymes, and her mission is to cast a play. At least half her mission is, because we only get to see up to the end of morning time. And the play, you ask? Oh yes, Shakespeare for 5-year-olds. And no, I'm not talking about Romeo and Juliet or Hamlet. I'm talking about King Lear. Yes. She wants to do King Lear. We will get more into the story of King Lear if you are unfamiliar once the play is actually shown, because pretty savage. She informs our main character that the story of King Lear is a Shakespearean story where old fools are betrayed and there's violence, death, and geezers slayed. And she asks us to find the cast for the play. She needs an awful girl, someone a bit off, as well as a rich old fool. But before we cast the 3 prime subjects that I'm sure you thought of when you heard that cast list as well, when we ate Nugget's goo, Miss Lovelett let us go to the nurse, which actually gave us a lot of access to the school environment. We actually get to interact with Stevie, who seems to be the only hall monitor, unfortunately, at this school. R.I.P. original hall monitor. We're gonna miss you, kid. Just know that he's probably with his smoky cat, smoking a cig, loving cats. And I love that for him. Not smoking at a young age, but that he's vibing, okay? It's a video game character. I love that for him. But anyway, Stevie is bandaged in a hallway, guarding the door to the classroom. And when we ask him about why he's all bandaged up, he references the misunderstanding from the janitor in kindergarten 2 when, The janitor also beats him with a mop, but at least this time it didn't disable him. It just made him bandaged. Which makes me ask the question, what is officially canon between Kindergarten 1 and Kindergarten 2, and then Kindergarten 2 and Kindergarten 3? I'm hyper fixated enough on the lore of these games if you would like me to make another video on what's officially canon between the games, because so many of you have asked me, why is Miss Applegate still alive? And honestly, she's an iconic character. That's all I can give you. I don't know why she's alive. It's Miss Applegate. Why isn't she alive? I don't know. I know she got stabbed, but she also got stabbed in the first game, and some things have carried over between Kindergarten 1 and Kindergarten 2 and some things didn't. I don't know. But if you want to see me dive into what is actually canon, let me know. But I will say, this game series seems to make it a little difficult. But at some point, since he is guarding the classroom before morning time, I feel like we're going to have to try to sneak into the classroom for something and distract Stevie in some way before school starts during the actual release of Kindergarten 3. Before MatPat and Stephanie took our main character to the nurse, they went into the bathroom, and the first thing they notice is a pretty large drain in the middle of the bathroom, and our main character says, "I think I can hear someone laughing from down there," which made me think of Regis. Again, the only character that we have not interacted with and have not seen much of. The bathroom also has a shower, probably to rinse off goo. It has a goo-filled sink, which we can actually interact with and take goo from. And then the game developers put a funny little joke in there, saying that the last time that we tried to interact with the toilet, the demo crashed. So MatPat and Stephanie, of course, have to see if the game will crash or not. And then it did not. But surprisingly, the toilet caught on fire. So just to give you an idea of what state this bathroom, let alone the school is, it's kind of run down. There's something going on beneath the bathroom or school, and it's probably more hellish, kid-hating, experimentation, murder, something. And the toilets are on fire. It's probably just hell. That's what I'm describing. I mean, we got to bring back the sacrifice circle, right? At least for the adults in this game, because holy hell. Now, the nurse's office, we figure out, is actually located inside the main office where we find our beloved Miss Applegate. And she is just so much happier in this game, and I'm excited to see it because she's not teaching the children. She gets to have a stable job, at least for Wednesday, where she doesn't have to teach the children. She's going to be the secretary, the lunch lady, and at some point the librarian or study hall supervisor. She's probably gonna be our second hall monitor person that we're gonna have to try to get past throughout the game, since they removed the original hall monitor, which is probably gonna be a pain in the ass, but I'm glad to see she's happier. Maybe she, won't freak out. Or, on the other hand, it's kindergarten. We all wanna see her freak out. So I'm excited to see how we can make her freak out. But I will say, with Miss Applegate being the secretary in the office has changed a lot since the last kindergarten video I did and since the screenshots that the developer posted, which just goes to show, remember, anything we're seeing between now and the official game release can change, and has changed already from some screenshots that we've seen. So what's different about the office? Well, there's still the body bag, the lost and found. There's a globe. There's now a metal box with a warning that our player can't read. There's plants, little carpet, putt-putt golf, as well as, the big hatch in the middle of the room that leads to underneath the school that is just so blatantly obvious. I just feel like for Kindergarten 3, the developers are like, we're not gonna be secret about it. We're gonna give you the lore. We're gonna tell you what's going on right in front of you, and you have to figure out how to get down there to see the truth. All right? We're not hiding it. The adults in this world are crazy, and I appreciate it, but also, what are you doing down there, Regis? What are you doing down there? Now, one thing I did find interesting about our very, very limited interaction with Miss Applegate in this demo is that she kind of confirms that this school is like the others. So once again, it's giving me no reason to trust any of the adults, even Miss Lovelett, despite how lovely she seems. I ain't trusting her, all right? She's our kindergarten teacher. I don't trust her, especially after this screenshot. I would love to know your theories on this. Now again, the nurse's office is inside the main office, and we see the nurse for the first time smoking, and she tells us good news and kind of bad news for us throughout the game that she only has one dose of antidote for the goo. So it's a very limited supply, and that means we're going to have to be very strategic on when we use the antidote for the goo. Now, I've talked about Austin a little bit more in my screenshot breakdown. In the screenshot video, we kind of went down that he's probably going to start a food fight during lunch. He's going to throw a baseball at somebody. Overall, I feel Austin's mission is going to be us helping him cause trouble in this new school. Mischief, mayhem, and rock and ball throwing. All right, so we finally get the antidote for our goo poisoning from the new school nurse, and it seems like the only things that we've been able to actually have in our inventory so far is the goo that we can grab from the bathroom, or a carrot if we ask for a vegetable from Emmy's garden. And besides that, I don't think we have been able to really interact with a lot until we get to Miss Lovelett's play. So let's dive back in to Miss Lovelett's mission. So as most kindergarten missions go, the person we are talking to or trying to help kind of just forces us to do all their bidding, and Miss Lovelett kind of just forces us to be not only the casting director but also the stagehand. So we're supposed to find, like I said earlier, someone a bit off, an awful girl, and some rich old geezer, and MatPat and Steph chose to cast Nugget, Cindy, and Felix, which probably would be my first go-to cast as well. So of course, with the casting of Cindy, Nugget, and Felix, they all have demands. We have to get a crown for Felix, of course. We have to get goo for Nugget, even though he's been playing in it all morning. And then we have to get a bouquet of flowers for the leading lady. With us trying to get these items during morning time, the demo also shows us that Nugget is slowly turning into a monster. My feeling is that throughout the kindergarten game, if we don't prevent Nugget from becoming one of the monsters that we saw at the end of the Kindergarten 2 game, that he might end up terrorizing or killing us at the end of each day if we don't get some sort of antidote for him, even though the nurse only has one. And even though I am excited to see how this mutation is going to affect Nugget throughout the game, I'm also a little sad. I know Nugget fully embraces it, and he's probably going to become the best Nugget monster, but that's my man Nugget, and he was already missing an arm in the last game. Like, why's his arm gotta mutate, and he's gotta mutate to this huge monster? Anyway, MatPat and Stephanie get the bouquet for Cindy from the playground, the goo from the bathroom for Nugget, and we have to get the crown from Davey that he's wearing during morning time by sacrificing the classroom pet to Linda the alligator, because of course, Davey basically has his own cult to worshiping that alligator, and you know, I respect it. He loves that gator. He loves Linda. Loves Linda. And Miss Lovelett is like, okay, none of the kids are attached yet. Might as well get another class pet. Okay. All right. Now, we did get the items for the 3 cast members, but things that I noticed is the environments of both the classroom and the playground. So in the classroom, we see that Emmy is growing bean sprouts. There's a fire axe on the wall that kind of foreshadows that a fire is going to happen. I mean, we already saw the school toilet explode into flames. Alice is playing by herself and makes a comment that it's not the same without her friend Kevin, who's also missing. And then there's a green book on the shelf that uses an apple that maybe leads to a secret room, but Matt and Stephanie didn't interact with it, so I'm excited to see what that green book does when the full game releases. Now for the playground, there is a bird that unfortunately kills MatPat as he's playing. There's a slide that you can actually slide down, but it is mysterious because it has a yellow cord sticking out of it, and in one of the screenshots, Alice's final memory before she loses her memory was going down that slide, so there's something going on with that slide. There also seemed to be an injured dog or animal with blood at the base of a tree on the playground. Again, I would love to see any thoughts you have on this. And then in front of the injured dog or animal, there's also looks to be like loose dirt, which just proves to show that there's something underground that we really need to get to the bottom of. We need to figure out what's going on underneath this school. Now to the actual King Lear playthrough. Once we get those 3 items for Cindy, Felix, and Nugget, it's very cute and very cursed to see how this play goes because, like I said, Nugget's arm just mutated, and what does he do with his freshly mutated arm? He stabs both, not 1, but 2 of Felix's eyes, and at the end of the play, we unfortunately see Felix crawl away. Now, this demo was actually a very sweet, very loving farewell gift to Matt and Steph, and I have linked their video down below so you can see how it ends for them, because it's a nice little message from the game developer, and it also just breaks my heart and makes me sob because MatPat is now retired. Like I said, I did spend the past few hours kind of going through and taking notes on everything that I was able to piece together and notice in Matt and Stephanie's playthrough. But if I missed anything, please let me know down below in the comments. And if you have any theories or ideas on any of the objects, people, or missions discussed in my video, I would love to discuss them with you. But I want to thank you so much for making it to the end of the video. Remember, when Kindergarten 3 comes out, I will be playing it right away. And if you want some Kindergarten 1 and Kindergarten 2 Let's Play videos before then, I will link the playlist down below, and here are these for you to watch as well. But I want to thank you so much for being here, and I am excited to discuss more theories about the kindergarten universe with you down below in the comments. But until then, I hope you have a wonderful day. You can call me PhoebzorPhoebe, and I will see you in the next video. Bye!